welcome to episode 56 of Comics and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Lumpy.
And this is the review show that reviews comics chronologically. Kind of? Is that the right one? Or is it sometimes?
I thought it was sort of.
Nope, that's not so. It's definitely not sort of.
Alright, it's kind of.
It's kind of then?
Yep, it's kind of.
Whatever the tagline is into this. We're still covering X-23. We're going to do 4 through 6 today. Because... And apparently so are the cats.
Yes, I have special guest tonight on my lap, Lemon, who does not want to leave me alone, so you guys are going to listen to that tonight. Okay.
Well, at least he'll have something to add to.
Yes. Yeah, what's your opinion, Lemon? Cool. Great.
So, X-23 was published in May 2005. Its editor-in-chief was Joe Quesada, cover artist Billy Tenn, John Sybil, Brian Hemberlin, published by Dan Buckley. This is called Innocence Lost Part 4, written by Craig Kyle and Christopher Volz, penciled by Billy Tenn, and inked by John Sybil, colored by Brian Haberman, lettered by Corey Petit, and edited by Axel Alonso and Corey Sedemeyer. It is 24 pages long, just like all the other ones. All the information is the same for all of the comics, so it's the last I'm going through it this time.
I was going to say, all 3 of these ones are all the same. We're going to run through these 3 fairly quickly, so there's no need to go through all these names again.
Yep. So, last time, jerk scientist Xander left X-23 to get killed in his mission to bring her along. Her mom's, X-23's mom said, I don't remember her name, because now we're going on 2 weeks since I've read these.
Is it Sarah?
Sarah Kinney, maybe?
Kinney, yep.
Yeah. And Kinney's looking at we open up with her looking at a photo of her niece.
Well, the cover first is the big red X-23, and then it is X-23 on the cover. She is cutting bullets in half. A whole bunch of bullets flying at her. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
The cover is not very... None of them are very that interesting, honestly.
No, they're not.
It's still Marvel Next, so that little side brain. Anyway, as I said, Kitty's looking at a picture of her niece while... I don't know, is that a picture of X-23? I thought that was a camera.
No, it's a picture. It's actually... She has the file, X-23's file on her desk. Okay. And she's open to a picture of X-23 sitting in her, like I said before, it looks like bathroom walls, so.
Yeah, because they all think she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But then something's breaking into the facility, and my gosh, it's X-23. How did she survive? Who could have figured that out?
She doesn't have healing factor.
She doesn't have healing factor?
I'm just saying, like, they pretended like she was going to die by him leaving her there.
Yeah.
No. Again, stupid, but...
The bad guys in this are really, really stupid.
Yes.
Every one of them. Anyway, Kinney's now in the room talking with X-23, asking her to tell her what happened, but she doesn't really talk, so of course she doesn't happen. We get a flashback of her being shot interposed with the conversation, and then, her regenerating, coming back and slaughtering the guys that shot her.
Yes.
And then Kinney's crying in her bedroom because of, I guess of happiness because her daughter's back. But then she gets a phone call, and apparently her niece is going missing. Then for some reason she thinks of a flashback of her father, doing bad things to her. I don't know why that's there.
Yeah, that's a really weird panel just to throw in. They don't elaborate nothing. It's weird.
But she decides that she's going to get X-23 to help find her niece. Meanwhile, there's family drama going on between Scientist's dad and the affair person he's having with, and...
Yeah, totally worthless. It's his fake dad and the woman he's having an affair with. It's totally nothing.
Anyway, the dad and the scientist goes to check on X-23 and she's not there. We cut to San Francisco, where Kinney shows up at her sister's house as X-23 goes up into the niece's room and I guess smells her, takes her scent.
That's classic Wolverine.
As Kinney's comforts her sister, while X-23 goes out and searches for follows the scent to the apartment of this guy that has the niece tied up because, this is for kids.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if it is for kids, but...
Didn't we read it was, for a younger crowd?
Teens, yeah, I guess it's like...
Anyway, X-23 disguises herself as a Girl Scout and is trying to sell cookies to the kidnapper. And he says, "Where's your parents?" And she says she's alone, so he invites her in, and he's about to kidnap her, but he opens the box of cookies, and it's a picture of the niece, and then X-23 proceeds to throw him out a window.
Yes, she does. Yeah, he opens the box. He also has a knife, like he's going to do something to her, and he opens the box. The drawing of him opening the box, I thought was really cool, just like the look of horror on his face when he opens the box and sees the picture. Like he's really caught off guard. I don't know how you feel about the drawing, but I thought it was pretty neat.
I just don't know why there was a picture of the girl inside.
It was like her, aha, I gotcha.
Okay. I guess. It just seems overly theatrical for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, for her, especially somebody who's so just monotone.
Right.
It
felt a little out of character, is all I'm saying.
And she's so cold, she literally kills the guy and then walks out with the girl straight faced, like it's fine.
And then Kenny delivers her niece back. But Scientist Guy and Scientist Guy's dad are mad about this, and now Kenny's in trouble. But they're going home for today. They're going to discuss this tomorrow. So Scientist is taking his dad home, and he's like, "You're stressed a lot. Why don't you sign these papers, signing over the whole company to me?" And he does, because he's an idiot.
Makes no sense, but okay.
Nope.
Yes.
And then, as he drops off his dad, Kenny drives away, opens a trunk, X-23's in the trunk, and she's got a new mission. Kill his dad, the wife, and the son. And that's the end of that issue. Dun, dun, dun. On the issue 5, right? We're on 5?
Yeah, issue 5, the cover, X-23.
It was released June 2005. It is called Innocence Lost Part 5. Alright, God, now you can talk about the cover.
It's a little strange. It almost looks alien-like, but it's a whole bunch of little embryos, I guess, in these little bubbles with machines attached to them to keep them, alive. I'm assuming it's insinuating, a whole bunch of Project X-23s. So, that's basically it. Yeah, she's standing there with her hand on one of them.
I'll give it this. It's the best cover they've done so far.
I agree.
Well, this one opens with the dad's wife admitting that she had an affair, and then the dad slaps her in the face. And then X-23 busts in the window and murders them both.
Yes.
Then she goes up the stairs. She finds the kid in a closet with Winnie the Pooh and Elmo. And she's about to murder him, but he's crying. So she cuts the head off his Spider-Man doll. And we think that's it. We think he's dead. And then X-23 proceeds to burn the matter to the ground. And he comes back. Scientist washes all the evidence off of her, puts her back in her cage, and says, "Don't say a word." Meanwhile, Kenny comes in to talk with X-23, and she's cutting herself. And so she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And then her friend the friend that's been helping her throughout the whole thing, I don't know his name, comes in and says, "Hey, the guy's dead and so is his wife, but they found the kid in the forest. He's not dead." And she's like, "What? And then X-23 spits up the paper, and Kenny figures out that it was those scientists that ordered her to murder him. But Kenny's happy that she didn't kill the kid.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your comment?
I don't really, you kind of blew through it a little bit on me, so I was a little bit behind on you. But, yeah, so the mom's, confused that X-23's cutting herself. She thinks that the scientist guy is the one who's been putting the X's in her arm, which is also weird. What would he been doing that with? She does it with her claws. That's a stupid comment. And I don't know the boyfriend or whoever that guy is. They don't ever introduce him. I don't remember ever catching his name.
Well, he was there with her when they went to rescue her niece.
Right.
And he's been throughout as the only one that's been really by her side.
Yeah.
But he's not like a love interest or anything. He's just kind of like there as an assistant or something.
Yeah. But so X-23 spits up the paper that is just a picture of them.
Yes.
And she says that monster.
Yes.
And she figures it out that he used her to kill them.
Yeah. You know, you can interrupt me if you want to say something. You don't have to wait.
No, I was letting you go, but I was also like looking through some of the pictures while you were doing it, and I was like, shit, wait, you got too far ahead of me. So, alright, we're good. I'm caught up now on you.
Okay. Well, Kenny goes confronts Douche Guy, and he's like, we should sleep together, and she's like, screw off. And he shows her that he has been treating other X's as the embryos and stuff, and he doesn't need X-23. He's gonna sell these ones off and make even more money because that's his diabolical plan, I guess. And he tells Kenny to get out or be gone by morning, or she'll be shot.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this one kind of sucks. It's like nothing really happens. You're saying exactly what it is. And it's kind of, as you read this one, it's like, okay.
It's all set up for the finale.
Exactly. That's all it is. This is literally just a read-through.
And so, Douche Scientist is on the big teleprompter thing, informing the whole project that, he's in charge now, the other guys are dead. Meanwhile, Kenny's writing a letter pretty much explaining everything to X-23, and her friend comes in. Meanwhile, I don't know why they show Douche Scientist washing up.
Yeah, he's like washing his hand, he laughs at himself in the mirror, and the next thing you know, you see the soldiers outside getting killed, getting shot, yeah. By
Kenny and her friend.
Yes.
And Kenny slides a file underneath the door, which is the same kind of manila folder X-23 usually gets for her mission. And X-23 opens it up, sees the embryo tanks, and her next target is Douche Scientist. The end.
Yes, again, all set up for the final.
Yeah. Last issue. This one was released July 2005, and it's called Innocence Lost Conclusion. No number this time. And the cover is just X-23 beating up a bunch of the project's soldiers.
Yeah, basically the guards that were keeping her in her cell and stuff. So.
Yep. So
one thing I thought was interesting on the cover, not the artwork, because it's fairly plain. It's not really anything special again. But did you see Tan 05 after BWS? I don't know what that means.
What? No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look on the cover.
I am.
And in the little signature symbols where they sign, Tan and Sybil.
Yeah.
Do you see it says underneath a Tan, it says after BWS?
Oh, yeah. I do see it.
I was just curious on what it was. I don't know what that means. He signed it that way, and I don't know what it means.
I don't know. No idea. That's something you have to ask him.
I'm going to look it up eventually.
Alright. Kenny and her friend are, I guess, trying to escape the facility at this time. Her friend gets murdered as Kenny runs away, because, that's how that works.
Yes.
Kenny walks in and shoots the security guys and starts to take over the cameras and stuff. Meanwhile, X-23 is walking towards the embryo chamber. Spoilers. Anyway, Douche Scientist has just gotten out of the shower, and he's been informed that X-23 has gotten out. Meanwhile, X-23 shows up at the embryo chamber, and a bunch of guards encounter her. And they proceed to get their asses handed to them. Meanwhile, Douche Scientist goes and see one of the doctors to see if he's seen X-23, and he's dead. And so he sends the rest of his guards to the embryo chamber, where they all proceed to get murdered. Meanwhile, Kenny escapes outside, and X-23 confronts Douche Scientist, where she proceeds to beat the crap out of him, beat him to death, essentially. She doesn't use her claws, she uses her fist.
Yeah, this one she just beats him to death.
And as she's beating him to death, she's remembering all the torture that he had put her throughout all this. And when she's done, she drops the dog tags that he had dropped on her. And meanwhile, Kenny's waiting outside as the time's ticking down for, I guess, the explosion they set, because then the place explodes, and X-23 walks out, sees her mom, but oh no, the trigger was set on Kenny by the douche scientist back when he was flirting with her, and X-23 freaks out, stabs her mom, and her final word, she tells her name's Laura, and then mom dies, leaving X-23 alone with all the scattered notes in the letter. And then some mysterious mysterious transmission happens about some guy asking if the scientists were dead, the explosion, and so everything's a loss. He says no because we have the trigger. And then we cut to 2 years later where X-23, I guess, is an X-Man.
Yeah, she has an X-Man jacket on, so she must be with Professor X now.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the only thing that I've read.
So the guy, whoever the mysterious figure is, took the trigger out of the dead idiot scientist's hand, and it's literally just cut to her in, looks like New York, or she's in a city somewhere in an X-Men's jacket.
Yep.
The end.
The end.
Basically, to me, this whole series was literally just an origin story to set her up for whatever they were ready to use her in for X-Men.
Yeah, and it's a decent origin story. It's definitely an easy and quick read.
Yes.
But going through it, it's not very good when you pick it apart.
Yeah, to review it, it's not as good as it was of a read. Like, I enjoyed reading it, but when we sat to talk about it, I was like, oh, it's not really that interesting to run through it. But it's really, I really, really enjoyed this. I don't know how you really felt about it when you read it, but I enjoyed it a lot when I read it, but
it wasn't, like I said, it was an easy read. I got through it fairly quickly, and I got through all 6 issues in one sitting. So, and in that regards, it's a good comic. It's just, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you actually go to pick it apart, then you're like, oh, there's some holes in this, and it's kind of dumb when you...
And nothing really happens. It's a lot of setup.
Yes, and basically that's all it was. When you actually get to the end, you realize that literally it was just the
whole comic's a setup, yeah.
Telling the story, it's a setup, that's all. To get you to where they're being able to use her in other stories.
And that's kind of the problem, though, because a lot of these issues are just setup after setup after setup for an organization that in the end is just gone anyway. What's the point of getting to know these people? Like, why did we have the whole family drama situation? We didn't even need that. Especially since they were going to kill every single one of them off. Right.
Except the little boy.
Right.
So, I don't know what their plan is with him. I don't know if they ever do anything with him, since this comic's like 15 years old. So I don't know if he ever did pop up back in anything, not that I remember. But they did leave a little loose end where if they did want to come back to some of this origin story and that family, he's there. Yeah,
but at the same time, the villain was you already knew he was a douche, you know? Right from the start, he was just unlikable. So...
Oh yeah, and they made it that way very clear.
So you didn't need the whole family drama and everything for the twist surprise that he sent X-23 to kill his family. What a surprise. Not really.
The only thing I can think of for that was actually possibly using the little boy as, maybe her nemesis later or something that she's looking for later if they were going to make... You know what I mean? That would be the only thing I could justify them telling that with. You know?
I think it was there for filler.
Yeah, and basically as of right now it was, because they've never used that little boy again, that I'm aware of, but...
Kenny's friend was, again, what was his point? I mean, he was just there to be a sidekick to get murdered, essentially.
Yeah, did he die?
Yeah, he got killed helping Kenny escape. It was right before... Where is it? Right before the shower scene and her getting into the security office. They're running away. The soldiers are shooting him. He shoots back and he gets shot.
Okay.
3 times. And she yells, Kevin! Because I guess his name's Kevin.
There we go. Now we got his name.
as he's lying on the ground shooting, he says, "Go, Sarah." And she says, "I can't leave you." And she says, "You have to, for her." So
the little boy who got away, his name is Henry Sutter.
Uh-huh.
And he is in 16 comics. So he also, they don't really tell you a whole lot about what, but it says that he does appear in 16 comics. Yeah, so he is part of something, so the story did go somewheres.
I mean, I guess, but let's see. He developed a hatred for X-23 for the murder of parents. What a shot.
That's kind of where I thought this was going, and he's like a villain to her, basically.
He joined the Orphans of X, I don't know what that is, a group of surviving family members up to those killed by Logan and other products of the Weapon X program. He became involved with one of the members, Amber. I don't know who that is either.
Nope.
They vowed to kill X-23, who was going by Wolverine at the time.
And it was called Orphans of X?
Orphans of X, yes.
I'll have to look it up and see if I can read a couple.
Well, that's the group she joined.
The boy joins.
Yeah.
They want to kill Wolverine, so I have to check out what kind of comics are there. But anyway, so it does give a little bit of why they did that. Again, I think it was a lot of filler and it was kind of worthless, but it did give them another character to pull from for a little bit of Laura's story, you know.
Yeah, apparently she saved Roosevelt Island, prompting the Orphans of X to hunt down and kill Old Man Logan, Dakin, and Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike using Muramasa bullets, which their healing factors can't heal against, I guess. Laura, and she apparently has a clone sister named Gabby.
I seen that in one of the other comics that I read. Because I've read a bunch of her comics.
He shot her a few times. She managed to convince him, the orphan, she wasn't to blame for his parents' murder, and further stated she would help them track down every person who paid for her services as an assassin and bring them to justice, proclaiming herself be an orphan of X herself. So they made up in the end.
Well, okay. It's neat.
It's a little circle-ish, you know. It feels like...
Yeah, listen, they had that character sitting there, they decided to use him. It was just, you know what I mean?
They decided to tell the same story, except with a different outcome. It's a little lazy, I think.
I'll read it, and then I'll let you know if it was lazy or not.
You do that.
Ouch.
I mean, if you like Wolverine, I guess, and you like the whole lore behind X-Men, it's an interesting read, but it's a little hard to get into if you're not up on the lore.
And so, I read this, and I got really into, her story, so I read a few more of her, just of her solo, short stints. There's one from 2010 and another one from 11 or 2012, I forget. And again, they're short, they're easy to read, they're fairly quick, it's nothing crazy, nothing special, but they're interesting, the stories are decent, so.
Yeah, but whatever, if you're not caught up with the NYX stuff,
yeah,
and
which
and you have no idea who this character, it's a decent story on its own, no doubt about it.
Right.
And it's an interesting origin, but you can tell this character's already established.
And that's kind of what the thing was, is they kind of put this out after they were already using her, so it was like a prequel, you know? And I will tell you, just to put it out there, after we talked last time on the first three, I went and read the NYX comics, and they are very good and worth a read, but they're very short. It's a six book story. They're fairly short, they're fairly quick, and it ends, and there's nothing. But it's worth a read, because I thought they were pretty cool. They just introduced a bunch of characters, young characters is all.
A bunch of characters they could use in future X-Men stories, because that's what X-Men is. They just move mutants in and out of their stories when they need to.
And honestly, that's what NYX is. They introduce about 7 or 8 different, mutants, basically. And like a woman is not a mutant who helps them. Like they introduce all these people so that they have them in their pocket for when they're gonna,
use them.
Exactly. That's all it is. That's all NYX is. But it's very good, and I definitely recommend the read.
Well, there you have that. And
that's all we got.
X23.
We stretched it out as long as we could.
Yeah, and that's X23, I guess.
Yes, that is X23.
All right. Anything else?
Lemon says good night.
Okay. Does Lemon have a joke for us?
Lemon, are you going to take the place Uncle Chris since he was fired? Nope. Put his claws away.
No. Okay.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah. I'm waiting for a joke.
I got nothing. I guess we're going to have to rehire Uncle Chris.
No.
For his jokes.
We're going to get a different co-host.
I tried. Everybody keeps bailing on us.
Yeah, well, I got a different one in mind. Don't worry. And until then.
Bye.
Bye. TJ here from Comics and Us, just here to plug the social media. Check us out on Twitter. Our handle is @EveryTNUs because someone took Everything and Us, but the name of the Twitter page is Everything and Us Podcast, and then the handle is @EveryTNUs. You can also check us out on Instagram, which is also Everything and Us. These all encapsulate all the podcasts that I do, but you're going to find all your updates for Comics and Us, Anime and Us, so forth and so forth. You can also contact us right now at everythinganduspodcasts@gmail.com. Still working on the website. And until then, that's where you can get a hold of us. That's all. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.